I'm Madelyn Burke, joined today by Giants wide receiver Darius Slayton. Darius, first of all, thanks for joining me. How is this virtual offseason going for you so far?
It's going pretty well. It's pretty kind of weird. My first NFL offseason has it's been really interesting, but been able to get some extra time to get a little extra work in, do focus on some things I wanted to focus on. So it's been good.
What kind of things are you focusing on?
Just getting my body right. Had the hamstring last year, had some other little nagging things from the season. So just doing little things to tune up and just make sure everything's strong and ready to go for camp.
How are you kind of attacking that or approaching that, staying fit?
I started doing like ball drills with my dad and my sister, and just at the house, like with tennis balls and stuff like that. And it got pretty interesting sometimes. They got into it a little bit, and so definitely some of that stuff was a lot of fun.
You and Daniel Jones, last year coming in both as rookies and kind of both coming onto the scene, really had an instant chemistry. I know last time you and I talked, you mentioned he had just followed you back on Twitter. How is your off-season kind of bond growing, and how are you guys staying connected?
It's growing. Right now, we're working on him consistently answering the phone, but that's kind of the next step in our relationship.
I
But
get that.
he's gotten better. I know he's working hard. I'm working hard where I am, and I know we both are just ready to be back together up in New York.
Do you leave him voicemails, or do you just leave him missed calls, or what's your strategy here in getting him to answer the phone?
Well, normally I FaceTime him, and
Okay.
if he doesn't answer my FaceTime, then normally I just send him a nicely worded text message.
I
And
get that.
let him,
Pleasantly persistent.
yeah, just hey man, get back to me when you can,
There
kind
you
of thing.
go. There you go. I appreciate this. This is how these respectful bonds are built between quarterback and receiver.
Exactly.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I saw you. So Eli Manning obviously recently joined Twitter as well.
Honestly, I didn't believe it at first. I kind of saw somebody tweet about Eli Manning made a Twitter, and I was like, yeah, right. And then I saw the account, and then I was still like, no shot. This is some parody, like whatever. And then I went to it and I saw like it was a verified, and I was like, whoa, it's actually. And then I read like two of his first two tweets, and I was like, yeah, it's actually him. I was like, he would type that.
Also, another thing that's been popping off on Twitter is your trash talk with Chris Williamson. I know you and Chris have known each other your whole lives. Obviously, Chris, a seventh round pick by the Giants. What is your relationship like with Chris Williamson?
It's yeah, like you said, known to our whole lives. We actually grew up playing for rival park league teams, but we went to elementary school at the same school. So we went to school together, but we played against each other on the football field. So it was kind of an interesting dynamic there. But good dude. He's always been a good dude. Every time I've seen him, it's always been nothing but love. It was crazy when we drafted him. And his name came up, and then it was the Giants, and then like my parents and my sister, like everybody in the house freaked out. They're like, "Oh, no way, Chris!" So it was really exciting when he got drafted. But it'll cool to be teammates now, be on the same side.
What is the biggest difference that you think you're going to be bringing to the field in year two from year one?
More confidence. That's one thing I've really been focused on this offseason. I'm running routes and catching the ball, just playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. My confidence was kind of something that built as the year went on last year, and hopefully this year I'll be able to hit it week one. Running.
And, circling back to those tennis ball drills. I'd really like to see those too at some point too. Is it just like a quick hands type of a thing, or is it juggling, or?
Uh, it's kind of a variety of things. Some of them, your partner has to also be a pretty coordinated individual. So that was a little tricky doing that with, my sister and dad. They're okay coordinated, but yeah, definitely some of that stuff. It's just about tracking the ball, catching it. It's smaller than a football, so if you can catch something that small coming fast, the football's like nothing. So
Physically right now, you mentioned earlier the hamstring and how much you've been putting into. How does your body feel right now?
feels good. I obviously, kind of one of the weird thing though is that not being in the facility is not always having access to like massages or the cold tub or stuff like that. So with that type of stuff missing, kind of the offset is that like you have time to like let your body rest, to maybe take a rest day in between, or that type of stuff. So I feel good.
What have you been doing on your rest days? I know you're big into Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
Video games.
Yep.
How do you spend your time on your rest days other than that? Or are you still kind of going head to head with Golden Tate in that space?
Yeah, me and Golden played together a little bit. Mostly that, and then like I said, just sometimes a rest day technically doesn't necessarily mean like no football. I catch something every day, so it's just not always like running routes or stuff like that. But I might just stay at the house and catch the tennis balls or have somebody throw me the football, that type of thing.
Do you have a personal goal for yourself this year?
I think my biggest thing this year is I just really want to help the team win. Help us get back on track, get back to playing winning Giants football.
I love it. Love to hear it. Darius Slayton, thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you guys having me on.